we hide in bathrooms and cry and hurt when people die. And when you know they're gonna die, and there's nothing else you can do to help these people because you know the time is up. So usually I don't post this kind of stuff on my channel. I have two channels, like I was saying. The other channel is Hellcat Honey Vlog, so make sure you go to that channel and subscribe, and hit that notification bell for, just daily vlogging. But today at work was hard, and this is, the channel that has the biggest audience. So I felt, even if it just knocks off my algorithm, I really don't care, because I just wanted to make sure that somebody hears, this message about just making sure that you capture the moment in life. You don't take things for granted, right? And you love hard, and everything that you do, you put 100% in it, right? And I just wanted to kind of put this video on this channel so that I can sit here and try to reach more people. Because my other channel, there's only 40 subscribers, so come on, y'all get that channel rolling too. But I didn't care about how I looked today. I said screw that, because when I was in the hospital, like I said, I literally busted out in tears and smeared that whole face off. It's almost like in Castaway, when you had Tom Hanks, the Wilson on that soccer ball. That was me in my makeup. I could care less of how I look today. But I just wanted you guys to walk through my day today, and just listen to my message today. And like I said, if you're here for cars, that's cool, because I want you to be here for cars, right? Today I was thinking about I was going to take myself to the car show, but now after having a reality check today, I don't even know if I'm in the mood to go to a car show, right? But anyway, I just wanted to kind of come up here, so if you see this video, you're like, what the heck? This has nothing to do with her car. But I always told y'all I'm going to be honest, I'm going to be raw, be unfiltered, whether or not it's this channel, the other channel, because your girl is real, right? And we all have problems, right? There's nobody in this life that shit doesn't stink, right? So I just wanted to kind of talk to you guys today, because even though it sounds corny and cliche, but getting up here and listening to the comments, sometimes it helps and it's encouraging. So we have to know that some people are in your corner, right? I think working in the medical profession sucks. So many reasons why it sucks. I could not get out of my patient's room today quick enough, right? And I said, maybe after work I'll sit down, kind of decompress, and I figured, shit, somebody might sit here and feel the same way, right? I've been with this patient for a while now, and I told myself I wasn't gonna cry on camera, right? But shit, told you this is raw, unfiltered Hellcat honey. Was in the bathroom earlier in the hospital, and probably, as you can see, wiped off my daggone coat of makeup. My eyebrows look like I probably got electrocuted at this point. I'm sure people on social media, they'll come for me and say that I'm all jacked up, my hair's all over the place, but right now I just don't give two shits, right? Let me try to fix this camera. Hold on. So we'll just call this person Billy Bob, right? So Billy Bob's been with me in the heart failure clinic for some time, and people who know me already know that I love the shit out of my patients, right? I am like that mama bear, you know. If you come at my patients or you're not taking care of my patients, I'm coming at you, right? I want to make sure my patients are good to go, taken care of, medicines, shit. They ain't got no food. I'm sitting here trying to help it out, That's just my personality. So Billy Bob and me, we've had a relationship for some time. Heart failure has its ups and downs. And for the most part, it's chronic, right? You try to stabilize it, treatments, medications. So heart failures is like ongoing. You have testing, and depending on what the reason of heart failure, you try to take care of the reason. So there comes a point, just like with any chronic disease, there's really no more that you can do, right? Coming into heart failure, previously I worked in pulmonary medicine. So I would take care of my, COPD patients, and then comes a point when there's end-stage COPD, right? So then you start to have the discussion of palliative care. And for some damn reason, I just cannot handle the discussion of palliative care, right? Because I hate letting go. Over the years, you develop a relationship with these patients, right? You love them. I mean, Lord, there's some patients that I have literally scooted up my doctor chair, and we had some choice words because I had to have reality sink in, and it's just a compliance thing. So we have our ups or downs or laughs or cries, but one thing I try to give my patients is just pure honesty, right? And like I said, you develop a relationship. They become your family. You meet their family. You sit with their family. I mean, God, I have patients cooking for me, right? Or bringing me little knickknacks and making sure that some of my patients are older, so I'm like their daughter, They always want to make sure, did you eat? Did this and this and this. So you develop that bond, right? It's a natural bond. So when you see your patients hurt, and there's physically nothing else that you can do to help your patient, and you try to be strong for them. So you tell yourself before you go into the room, before you see them, you're not going to cry, and I'm light-skinned. So of course, us light-skinned people, we'll sit there and get red as a tomato, right? And then we start getting stuffy. And then you start hacking because you want our cough. And then all these stuff. Your eyes start looking like you got smoke all over the place, right? And I had told myself going into that room, you're not going to cry. You're going to stand strong. Because Billy Bob doesn't need that, right? He doesn't need to see you breaking down, right? So I told myself all of this shit before I went in there. And sure as hell, before I opened that god dang it door, my tears started coming. But when I opened that door, he was so happy to see me. And it just did something to me, No matter what bullshit he was going through, what he has been through for the last couple of days in this hospital, he lit up, and his smile, it just tore me up in the inside. He was so happy to see me. And I tried to hold back the tears, right? Because you're trying to be positive. And but he looks at me, he said, yeah, no, this is it for me. And he said, I know, hospice is right there. And he said, I'm okay. And he said, I just want to thank you for everything you've done for me, And I looked at him and I said, okay. And I told him, I said, but I'm not okay. And he said, don't do that. He said, you've been everything, you stood by my side. He said, it's okay. And at the end of the conversation, we were just laughing and talking and joking, about certain things. And, you know. But you can tell because Billy Bob is up there. He's in, in his 70s, and you can tell that that strong, that male, kind of thing took over, and he didn't want to cry. So I told myself, girl, suck this shit up here because he's trying to be tough for you, So at the end of the conversation, he looks and he was like, I really appreciate that you stopped by and checked on me. And I told him, I said, I'm going to be here tomorrow too. Trust me, But I couldn't get out that door fast enough. I ran, literally ran like a nurse, us nurses, you be holding your pee all day, and at that 8 hours, your bladder saying you better go pee because you're going to pee on yourself. It was that kind of ran down the hallway trying to look for a vacant bathroom that I could just barricade myself in. I closed that door, and it just seemed like every freaking orifices, my nose, my everything was just, that's it. I mean, tears started coming out, and I lost my shit, And it just brings me back to, you look at life and you look at why we exist, and it doesn't matter about your religion, your faith, or whatever, because I by no means, I'm not putting my faith and belief on anybody. But I had a conversation with my dad recently, and my dad made a comment, and he said, we are born to die, right? And I was like, Dad, that's kind of like, that's raw with it, Why would you say that? But hold on, I gotta fix my thing again. But my dad was said, think about it. We're born to die, So what are we gonna do with our moments here? Are we gonna love hard? Are we gonna, just be a dick for the rest of our lives? Are we gonna fight with people? Or are we gonna really truly try to be a good person, whether or not that's inspiring somebody, being an example? What is our purpose here in life, and how do we use this small piece of time? And I thought about it, and it just makes me, emotionally, it just sucks, It sucks because I have my niece just, for some apparent reason, my niece, and I love her like she was my own daughter, thinks that I am just a shit, right? She thinks I'm super smart, she wants to be, go in the medical field, wants to do what I do. And I'm telling her, girl, you better run the other way, because it sucks. Outside of the glitz, the glam, this lovely salary, we hide in bathrooms and cry and hurt when people die. And when they're gonna die, and there's nothing else you can do to help these people, because the time is up. And a lot of people don't get on social media and say, the downs of being a medical provider, right? All you see is cars and money and, great lifestyles, but you don't see behind the scenes, right? You don't see when we got to go home, and literally by the time you walk out of that hospital, you got to tell yourself, girl, you better get your ass together, because you got a family at home, and you got to put that little feeling inside, because you got people depending on you, right? You got to keep that locked up, and all of that stuff, it's hard to keep it bottled up. So I think this is the perfect way to kind of just help get this off of my shoulders before I go home and start round 2, cleaning the house, buying groceries, taking care of the family, But in saying that, I wanted to get up here and just say, I hope I'm looking at the camera, because like I told you on my previous video, I am blind. I can't see shit. But I didn't want to get here, wear my glasses, and then have dots all in my glasses, right? But anyway, what I was saying is, make sure no matter what you do, right, you do it to the fullest. Make sure you love to the highest. You love hard, right? Make sure you are proud of whatever decision you make in life, right? Whatever decision you stand on, whatever your beliefs on, you really support them and you go 100% towards that. Because our time is limited. It's calculated, right? We're just a piece into a huge overall picture. Just a pebble in a big ocean, right? Even though what goes around in our little pebble, our little world is important, but when you look at the big overall picture, it's very, very small. So I just wanted to get out here and kind of get my shit together because it hurts. And sometimes as medical providers, you know, everybody sees the glitz and the glam, but they don't see the rawness when we go home. You know, when we are up late at night worrying about, you know, is Billy Bob okay? Or is Miss Susie Q all right? Did she get her medicine? You know, hopefully her daughter checked on her, or her husband is doing okay. So all of these things all day, all night in your mind. And then we internalize these things, right? And then mental health starts to kick in, right? And then physical, because you're exhausted, right? You leave work, you're exhausted, you pile in all that stuff, and then you still got to continue what you're doing, making sure everything stays afloat, right? So I just had to kind of sit back and I said, you know, I'll just get up here and do my own therapy. Because remember, hey, this is free therapy for me, right? But I said, let me just kind of get my stuff together because, like I said, I could not run faster to that bathroom. And I hope nobody's seen me because, Lord, they don't know if I'm going to take a shit or what's going on with me. But I could not get to that bathroom sooner. And I just broke down. And then I asked myself, why do I continue doing this shit over and over? I have been doing the medical field now for over 20 some years, right? I have seen my patients again. I have seen new family members in my patient's life, grandchildren, kids being born. And then on the outside, you see death. And you see death in high numbers. And then depending on what specialty, again, like I said, pulmonary and cardio, your patients grow with you, right? Some of my patients have known me since I was in my 20s, you know? So over the years, it's like having another mom or another dad or an older sibling, you know? And each time it happens, it doesn't get easier. You know, you have the song saying, you know, no matter what, you know, multiple times, like Sam Smith was saying, you know, the easier it gets, you know, you're not crying anymore. No, I beg to differ. It gets harder, you know? So I just wanted to, like I said, overall just come and just kind of decompress, and just, I don't know, just talk to somebody, and hopefully, you know, this kind of changes whether or not, you know, you are fighting for something small, you know, with your siblings. It just puts things in perspective, right? Because at the end of the day, we don't know the time, we don't know the place, we don't know when our ticket is up, and we need to utilize that time, right? If you're in a marriage and you've been going through some bullshit, right? And there are days that you say, man, screw this shit, I don't want to be married anymore, you know, and you think grass is greener on the other side, you know, put your shit in perspective. You know, go back to the good days with that person, and you know, when you guys are ride and die, and look at those hard situations that y'all been through and be like, look, is what we're going through right now worth the bullshit of us fighting, arguing, and can I see myself without that person? If the answer is no, you cannot see yourself without that person, then that lets you know you need to fix your shit and make it work, right? If you're fighting with your siblings and it's over something dumb, put it in perspective. What if my siblings, or what if I don't wake up tomorrow? right? If you think your kids are just acting like freaking monkeys, like I said in the last video, put it in perspective, because Billy Bob might not have another opportunity to have those arguments, right? And the same thing when I look at it and I'm like, when my dad made that conversation, you know, my dad and them are up there, you know, and like I've had conversations with my brothers, you know, what's going to happen when we're on that side and our parents' numbers are, you know, their ticket is getting close to being pulled, right? I think I'm literally going to really lose my shit. I don't even know what's going to happen during that time frame. You know, I've been raised in the church, so my beliefs, you know, I believe in God, I believe in Jesus, I believe in the afterlife. So I told my nurse this weekend, you know, with all the bullshit going on, and, you know I shouldn't curse or whatever, but that's just me, raw, unfiltered, whatever. God knows me. So when I go to heaven, like I told my nurse, I'm going to be like one of my patients. I'm going to go with a notebook with 20 million questions, and God's going to be like, you know what, let's just go through your good, your bad, whatever, and then you get your wings and you go to heaven. I'm like, I want to sit down. I'm going to go through everything in this notebook, and you're going to have about a 4-hour appointment with me, like my patients expect me to have, right? And I'm going to tell them, if you can't talk to me, then I want to see the equivalent nurse practitioner, which is Jesus, okay? Because we're going to have to talk about some things, because I don't understand, right? And I told myself, when it's that time with my parents, how am I going to deal with that shit, right? So I told God, I found myself begging and pleading with God. It's like all these thoughts go to your head when you're walking to your car, like, don't let my parents be in this situation right now, because I don't know how I'm going to handle it. I'm being selfish right now, right? Don't let nothing happen to my loved ones. God, just miraculously, you know, even though I know it's not going to happen, because you know, but like, God, you know, fix Billy Bob, you know? So I'm selfish. I don't want to let Billy Bob go. So all of this shit's going in my head, and I'm like, we got to do better while we're here, you know? We got to make sure that we're happy and we don't have any regrets when we're out of here. Whether or not, again, your belief is in the afterlife, nothing, you believe you're just going to be nothing, you know, reincarnated, it doesn't matter. It's not that going on in my channel. But again, the question is, what are you going to do with the time that was granted to you now, right? It just puts shit in perspective, because as I go home, Billy Bob is in the hospital by himself, you know, and it does something to me, right? And I'm sure other providers, I'm sure that they feel the same way. So if you have anybody in your family who is in the medical field, you know, I keep fixing my camera here because my thing is sliding, but just make sure today you take time to say you appreciate them and just encourage them, and you give them a big old hug and just tell them it's going to be okay. To all my nurses out there, my physicians out there, you know, and I'm not going to say his name, but this man has been my boss, my collaborating physician forever. There used to be a joke going on because I started off in cardiology, and then I ended up in pulmonary medicine, and then I came back to cardiology. But during my whole transition throughout my whole medical career, this person, this doctor, has been my boss the entire time. So there's a laughing thing saying no matter what I do in my medical field, he is going to be my boss. And I love him. He is smart. He has taught me a lot inside and outside the medical field. He has been my sounding board sometimes, my voice of reason. There are days that I really want to sit there and be like, oh my God, you know, you're so political, but he's right in what he, you know, he says. But he saw me, and in his own way, he comforted me, right? And it's a little bit different because he's very, you know, black and white. But you could tell, because I'm just a marshmallow, I will cry in a minute, you know, even though it's ironic that I'm an OG gangster outside and I don't put up with nobody's shit, right? I mean, if you coming at me, I'm coming at you too, you know. And it's so ironic because I'm so hardcore with everything else, and I give two shits. It's black or white with me. Either you're gonna ride or die or you're not. There is no in between. And that whole forgiving crap, I don't roll with that. I don't forget nothing, right? Which could be my flaw too. But that being said, he knows that I am a marshmallow when it comes to my patients. Him and this other doctor, I won't say his name either, but they know my personality. So they stop what they're doing because they are so busy in the hospital, but they stop what they're doing to make sure that this marshmallow is okay, you know? And even in his words, which were very few, he told me it was the right decision and that Billy Bob is going to be okay, right? Okay for his okay. Not like he's going to walk out here and be completely healed, right? But he just reassured me. And that did something to me. Just like the last time with my other physician, you know, who literally walked with me and made sure that I was okay. Because yes, this is a routine thing. I cry with my patients. But the fact that these two men stop what they're doing because they're busy, right? They're interventionalists. They're, you know, doing procedures. They're, you know, seeing patients. They're all over the place. But they stop what they're doing to take their, you know, their student under their wing and say, hey, dry your tears. It's going to be okay. This makes us, you know, tough. This makes us good at what we do, you know? But he made me feel better, and he gave me the power to get it together, to say, okay, I can keep going, you know? So anyway, I'm not going to rant on this thing, but again, I don't even know how this is going to turn out because I can't see where for shit. I'm looking at people looking at me crying in the car. I think my steering wheel is in the frame here, so it's probably can't even pick me up. But again, I can't see shit. And with my glasses, I don't know if this is going to come out. But anyway, hey, it's raw. It's unfiltered. But anyway, I just wanted to kind of tell you guys a little bit about my day. And hopefully, this causes somebody to change. Love hard, work hard, enjoy what you do, and I will talk to you in another video. Peace out.